AI is impacting your job right now, and you may not even know it. Look, the reason why I'm doing this video, first, it's a big bummer. It won't get the views that I would hope that it would get. It would not. It's not going to get the views that it typically would get because I'm saying some things that people are not going to like. But I feel like, you guys, all of you people out there in social media land who read my stuff and listen to me or watch me on videos, I've been thinking about this for the past couple of days. Has nothing to do with Crony. Well, it has something to do with Crony capitalism, but I mean, it could anyway. But that's not what I'm talking about here. AI is about to radically change our world. I believe that. Okay, it is happening right now. Why do I say this? Because as a business person, I am seeing the power of AI on a day-to-day basis. Every single day that goes by, some new solution comes, like I'm made aware of it. All right. And it's like, it just keeps getting better and better and better and more powerful and more powerful and more powerful and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. 10 years ago, not that it could exist, okay, but to have access to Chat GPT would have cost you $1 billion. Now it's free. Think about that. All right. Now, think about what that power means for you and me as, people operating in the economy. It's massive. Look, lawyers are getting decimated as we speak. All right. Paralegals are like, all right. That whole profession is just being crushed. Who wants to be a software engineer right now? Okay, like if I was like a third year student studying software engineering, like where I'm trained in code, like I'd be sweating right now because you had better shift right now and figure out how to do AI prompts and vibe code, as they say. Okay, because now you can build an app. It used to be it would take months to build an app. Some guy's going in there writing code and it takes forever, blah 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 blah. You're moving, and you got to debug it and all this stuff, and then hopefully it works, and then you bring it to market. Blah. Okay, now you can literally tell AI specifically, look, I want an app. I want to build it like this. I want to deliver it by this. This is how, these are the solutions that it needs. These are the problems it needs to solve. I need to do it at this price point. Make it for me. I am not kidding. This power exists. So when I was coming up in school, a lot of people went into computer programming because that was where it's at. You can make a good living. Well, I read a great Substack of a computer programmer who kind of graduated a little bit after me. I graduated in 2000. And he made a nice living. He was making $140,000 a year. AI comes in, boom, takes out his job. Okay. And guess what? He can't find a job anywhere else either because they don't exist. All right. So they're getting impacted. Now, what about you? What about you sitting in your white collar office somewhere? I think that everybody pretty much from the director level down is going to be like your cheese is going to get moved hugely. Now the C-suite guys, they're things are getting moved for them too, but there is some delay because they're making the decisions, and there is some executive level of humanity kind of running AI at this point. Okay, but what this means for society is not clear. My theory is that there are going to be a bunch of people pushing for universal basic income. There are going to be a lot of people, educated people who normally would have found jobs, where, that provided for a middle class level of life where you could buy a house and all this sort of stuff, that are going to be looking around and going, I can't, like, what am I supposed to do with AI? And they're going to lobby the government for some money to just flow into their bank account so they can survive. This is very dangerous because ultimately, if you rely on the government for your living, the government can basically bend you to its will. I mean, it's like you start mouthing off a little too much on social media. Guess what? Your check gets cut. We learned in COVID that they'll do this. like, you know, so if you're in a world where it's a UBI world, a universal basic income world, I got news for you. And you're relying on that universal basic income. Look. I mean, you might be able to eat as long as you comply. Right. I know it's a big bummer. I'm not going to go too much into it, but I'm just saying the point of this video, if you're seeing it, is I encourage you to think about your current employment situation, where you're at, your situation in terms of, I say this as a former financial advisor, okay? Think about your employment situation, think about your assets, think about your children and their future and what they're choosing to do, how much debt they're going into, because things are changing profoundly. And it's not because of Trump and it's not because of any of that stuff. It's because technology and AI is just exponentially ramping up. We don't know the future. That's all I can say. But I do know that it's for all of us, especially, bread and butter issues, is about to radically change. So this video is just saying, hey, take the weekend to reflect on it. Talk to your spouse, talk to your children about it. What are you going to do in the next 10 years? The people who are paying attention now could thrive. The people who are caught flat-footed like 3 years from now, they're going to have a problem. Anyway, good luck.